teacher, and the other Sadie was the dentist. The two sisters are talking to one another. I don't know if you're all familiar with the play. Okay. Well, Sadie suggests to Bessie that she tell the audience about the time that she was almost lynched. And the play is written up where both characters are talking, but I've done some modifications here so that I'll give you the entire excerpt myself. That's right. I was on the train on my way to Brunswick, Georgia, for a teaching job. The train stopped over in Waycross, Georgia, and I was sitting in the little colored waiting room. There was nobody in there except me and two other colored teachers. They were from New York. They were traveling to Brunswick with me. Well, I was fixing myself up. I wanted to look nice because I was going to my new job. So I took my hair down and was combing it. Well, this white man stuck his head in the door and, well, he was leering at me. And he was drunk and he smelled bad and was mumbling things. So I said to him, "Oh, why don't you go wait with your own kind in the white waiting room?" Well, he took off, shouting at the top of his lungs, "That nigger woman insulted me! That nigger woman insulted me!" Well, of course, the two teachers who were sitting there with me took off and hid off immediately down into the woods. I can't say that I blamed them. The crowd began to gather on the platform, and I knew then I was in big trouble. Papa always said, if you see a crowd gather, you ought to go the other way. But I just kept sitting there. I was waiting on somebody to get a rope. Thousands of Negroes had been lynched for far less than what I had just done. But I just continued to sit there. You know, sometimes you get real scared, that spurs them on. Two things saved me. That glorious, blessed train rounded the bend, breaking up the crowd and giving me my way to get on out of there. And it helped that the white man was drunk as a stunt, because that turned off some of the white people. But I wasn't afraid to die. I know you ain't got to die but once. And I was ready. Lord help me. I was ready. I had fun doing that part. I worked with circle players at TPAC, and we did that part of the play as part of a competition in Cookville. So we never did the entire play, but I enjoyed doing that. And then this is a piece of my heart. This, I don't know if any of you are familiar with this one. We did this one at TPAC Circle Players in 1908. And I know there were several veterans that went to TPAC and saw this place, but based on the lives of 6 women who were served in Vietnam. I played the role of Steele, and she was the only military person. Well now, I'd been a WAC for almost 18 years when I decided to go over to the NUM. First joined up in Jackson, Mississippi, where I was born and raised. They asked me, "Steele, what MOS would you like to be?" Well, I'm a college graduate and have been teaching music, so I told them I'd like to join the Army Band. So they gave me the 4th trombone part to audition with. Now, if you know anything about music, you know that's the hard part, the doobity-doo. So I'm playing along with the band, except Commander-in-Chief Warrant Officer Helen B. Whitehead, you're gonna get that name, has made some secret signal with the band to stop playing at a certain point. So all of a sudden, all you hear is me going, doopity doopity doo doo doo. Afterwards, she calls me aside and says, "Oh, sorry about that, Steele, but we can't have any Negroes in the band because you just don't blend in." 1950, my first touch with the American Armed Services and how they want you, but they don't really want you. Anyhow, by 1967, I had edited an Army newspaper, run an education center, and was a Spanish and French linguist, a prisoner of war interrogator, lives. Now that was her opening monologue. In closing, now while she was in Vietnam, she had fallen in her service, in her duty. She had fallen and hurt her back. So this is the closing. And these women had gathered together. There were women from the Red Cross and entertainers, but there were just 6 women with varied backgrounds. And they all came together at the Vietnam Memorial at the wall in Vietnam to reflect back over their time. So, in closing, Steele says, I retired CW3 after 30 years, settled in D.C. to be near old Walter Wonderful Reed Hospital, because I still got trouble with the back. Working on my PhD, topic of dissertation, life management systems of persons with hidden, periodically manifested and non-observable physical disabilities. Just about tells it all, doesn't it? Keeps me busy though, off the streets. Helps me not to give myself a chance to fall